This is the high-grade Arch Gundam from Gundam 00 Season 2. This kit was originally released in 2009 and is the successor on the GNW002 Gundam Throne Zwei. In the anime, it's piloted by the infamous Aliel Sages. This kit has the blue Bandai logo, which means it's a newly reprinted version. The box contains 6 runners, including 1 sticker sheet and a manual. As you can see, it's the product of its time because it still uses the old rubber polycaps that high-grade kits used to have. What's wild is how far HG kits have come since then. Modern high-grades have moved away from polycaps. Not all of them, but mostly they are now using that advanced engineering like color-separated parts and pre-molded frames. But there's something charming about building a relic like this. It's like stepping into a time machine back to the early days of Gunpla. And just so you know, we kinda all thought Gundam 00 was the best thing back then. And let's be real, the arch design is still a chef's kiss. Even if the engineering is dated, the build itself was fairly easy. As you can see, it wouldn't have taken me 2 days to finish if I wasn't so tired from work. My estimated is that it would have only taken me about 2 hours to complete if I hadn't painted the white parts. Yes, I decided to paint them because I knew the stickers wouldn't last very long. I was actually supposed to buy this kit last year, but as I'll discuss later, it kept selling out. Some people were even trying to charge double from the original price, claiming it was rare. I was like, no way is this kit worth that much. Thankfully, I waited long enough, and Bandai re-released it just this year. Now there's still tons of them available. Well, thanks Bandai. See, everything will be alright if you just wait. And you know what, while building this kit, it's a humbling reminder of how spoiled we are today. We've been getting incredible model kits these past 5 years. And yeah, when I finally finished building this guy, something definitely feels off. It does feel loose. And I totally agree, we need an HG revive of this bad boy. Same goes for all the HG 00 Gundams. Just imagine the arch with modern articulation and no stickers. But let's be real, that won't happen for another 10 years because Bandai isn't done milking those revived seed kits yet. Obviously, they're going to choose the more popular lines first. Still, at least we got those 00 master grades to hold us over. And there you go. Building this kit is like taking a trip back to 2009. The build process is simple, almost quaint compared to today's HG standards. I do kinda miss its straightforward design. The articulation is limited by today's expectation, no web crunches or fancy ankle pivots here, but what it lacks is flexibility. It makes up for the presence. The arch sharp, predatory silhouette still looks fantastic on the shelf. Even if posing, it feels a bit like wrestling with a stubborn action figure from your childhood. That said, the limitations are impossible to ignore. Those stiff joints mean you'll be lucky to get a dynamic pose without the whole thing toppling over. And the lack of color separation means you'll either need to embrace those stickers or break out the paint. You know, for a Gundam that's supposed to be fast and flexible, trying to get those shoulder armor pieces to stay put during posing, well, prepare for frustration, because I'll be honest, this thing definitely has horrible articulation. But here's the thing. When you finally get this guy into that perfect menacing stance, all those little annoyances fade away. Because personally, I really love the Arch Gundam design. It's just so unique. Because this is one of those Gundams that made me question, is this even a Gundam? I've heard people hate on this design, but I've also seen people like me who absolutely love it. For some reason, it just works perfectly as a villainous Gundam design. Because when you notice the debut of the Thrones, 1, 2, 3 Gundams, if you saw the anime compared to our lead Gundams from Celestial Being, they have a very different design. Because this was the debut design of Naohiro Washio. I might be pronouncing that wrong, okay? Sorry about that. But yeah, this was his unique take on designing his version of Gundams. Thanks to its unique proportion, he truly knew how to distinguish villain designs and heroic ones from the series. Bandai and Sunrise must have liked what they saw because he got the opportunity to design the main Gundam from a series called Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. And I think everyone's already familiar with that one. Naohiro Washio, the mechanical designer who became the head honcho for Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, creating most of the Gundams in the series. And here's the kicker, these weren't just any mobile suits, they were literally based on the demons of Ars Goetia, which is supposed to be a 72 of them, but only Gundam were introduced was less than 20, including the games and manga. Now quick disclaimer, he didn't design all of them, the Kimaris and Vidar, those were actually created by Ippei Gyobo, aka my personal favorite Gundam designer, but that's a story for another video, so hit that subscribe if you want to hear that deep dive later, okay? Anyway, if you look at his work, you can immediately tell it's the same guy who designed the Throne Gundams from Gundam 00. This man has a knack for creating the designs that look nothing like your typical Gundams. And you know what? I respect it. His aesthetic is so distinct that it's become an iconic in the Gundam community. It's like someone put a Gundam through a gothic cathedral filter and cranked the edge factor to 11. Those tiny heads, massive shoulders, and waist thinner than my patience for sticker sheets. Even just standing there, these machines look seconds away from committing war crimes, and I mean that as the highest compliment. That's why the Gundam community lost their minds when these designs first dropped. Remember the hype back in 2015? For a lot of fans, Iron-Blooded Orphans was their first Gundam series, and holy hell what an introduction they have. This wasn't just another Gundam show, it was Bandai handing Washio a blank check to make the most viscerally terrifying mobile suit in the franchise history. And the craziest part, it worked. These designs live rent-free in our heads because they dared to be different. The big problem though, here's the catch, it's not Washio's designs that are the issue, it's how Bandai model kits have treated them. Most of these kits are old and let's be real, they haven't aged well. Just like the Thrones, the colors are inaccurate. The articulation is janky and they just don't capture that demonic presence his artwork deserves. It's probably because of the limitation technology back then. The only kit that truly did his design justice was the Master Grade Barbatos. But the metal robot Damashi figures, these actually look like the monsters they were supposed to be. You just have to pay more, that is. And now there's also a third-party option like Wolf Technology take on Lupus Rex. It's based on the Lab Zero work conversion kit. I don't know when it's gonna release though. But here's the real kicker, unlike Ippei's Vidar, which got an MG early before Washio, the Barbatos variants has to wait. Good news though, Bandai finally announced the MG Barbatos Lupus, so hopefully this means Naohiro Washio's designs will start getting the proper treatment they deserve. Fingers crossed for a Gyushin Rebake MG next. So, there you have it. Naohiro Washio's designs are absolute fire. But Bandai's kits, they've been hit or miss. Thankfully, like I said, MG Lupus is on its way. Maybe we're finally getting the justice these demonic Gundams deserve. I mean, just look at his artwork. Yeah, I just think he really does have a passion in what he do. Just that there has not been a model kit besides the MG has really fully converted it properly, but maybe in the future. I have high hopes where we'll get an RG eventually when I'm 40 years old. So, what do you think? Are you hyped for the new MG or do you prefer Ippei's work? Let me know in the comments, and if you want a deep dive on Ippei's design or Kanitake Ibikawa, the person behind Florus, Exia, and Age 1, you can hit that subscribe button, and it's time for me to watch the G-Quacks because it's currently out now in Prime. Thank you guys, have a great day or night wherever you are, stay safe, I'm out.